Alright, so welcome to the multipass part. And yeah, I think this part is really easy because we already worked a little bit with multipasses. And I will just show you a really quick, because I don't think it's really a big chapter, show you quickly what we can do. We can go here, render elements, add all channels if you want, or add all standard channels, add all raw channels, and add all special channels. The raw channels and so on are probably something that we never need. Let's just, first of all, let's add all standard channels maybe, so you can see this a little bit better. Matte shadow is something that we don't really have. This is something you would really use when you, most of the time when you're rendering cars and you have maybe an HDRI, but you really wanna have this car sit in this HDRI also with shadows. And with this matte shadow thing, you can really do that. And you can also render out a path for it to make maybe the shadow a little bit stronger later on in Photoshop and so on. But this is really something that you won't really often need, so we can delete this channel. Background is really something that comes here from the environment channel. There are different things that we can do. We cannot only load here an HDRI in our area light, we could also load here an HDRI in the background environment and then just play here with the brightness and the multiplier to get the right light strengths. We can also load colors here and so on for the background, and then we can just render this out as a background channel and then have it separated from all the other layers and just work on this background channel if you want to. But since we don't really, we have a background, but this is not here in the environment slot, so we don't need this. Refraction filter is something that you will probably never use, and I'm not even sure what that means. I never used it. I think nobody ever used it, to be honest. SSS, subsurface scattering material, if you have one in the scene and you really want to play with it a little bit more, maybe make the contrast a little bit stronger whatsoever, you can do this here, but since we don't have a subsurface scattering material in our scene, we can just delete it. Caustics is something that is really coming normally from diamond, glass, all kind of those things, but only if you have the right settings, or maybe in a water environment. If you look into a pool, and the sun shines in, then you get all this nice golden white squeals going on in this pool, and these are basically what we call caustics. And so we don't have any caustics generated in this scene. This channel we might need sometime later on. For now, I think it's just simply not necessary because we don't have any caustics going on in this scene. Shadow is of course nice because we can then separate the shadow from the rest of the layers and just play with the shadow, make it a little bit darker, make it a little bit brighter, play with the contrast and so on. Self-illumination would only be if you would drop a light material on an object, which is possible in V-Ray as well. So you can go create shader V-Ray bridge advanced material, and then we can create here a light with the luminosity layer. So let's tick everything else off and let's go luminosity layer. And as you can see, we get now a light material. And here we can also tick on direct illumination. And as you can see, we get the exact same options like in an area light. So we can set here which units we want to use, which intensity we want to use, if we want to have a decay or not, if you want to make it invisible, if you and so on and so on. So we can just simply take this material, drop it on any geometry in our scene, and this geometry will then illuminate light if we want to, working exactly like an area light. So this is basically pretty cool. If we're using lights like this, we will maybe later on when we go on with the scene and add some grass and add some ground lights and add a little bit of floor and so on and so on. So we might use one of those materials as well, and then the self-illumination channel might come in handy later on in Photoshop. Refraction is of course what's happening when you're looking through a glass. So kind of bending and deforming and whatsoever. So we have some glass going on in this scene, so refraction channel wouldn't hurt. Diffuse is just a basic color channel that will get rendered out as well, so we can definitely use this. Atmospherics is something that we would only use if we have V-Ray fog enabled. V-Ray fog is something really nice. I think in this scene we don't really need it in this scene, but there is V-Ray fog, so we can create fog in V-Ray, and if you have some fog going on, then we can render this out separately as well, but we don't have anything. I will show you this later on as well. I will show you really all the bolts and nuts of V-Ray later on, so we will jump into lightning materials, into fog, and into a lot of other stuff that is going on, so don't worry about this too much right now. Reflection, we have a lot of reflection going on, so we can definitely use this. Specular, we have a lot of specular reflections, so highlight reflections going on because we beveled a lot and so on, so we're definitely getting a lot of specular here as well. We have GI enabled, so having a special GI channel is good as well, so we can play a little bit more with the GI, and of course we have some lighting going on, our HDRI of course, so a lighting channel comes in handy as well. What we can do as well, I mean, I don't really want to jump it now so deep into it. We will do this later on a little bit more when we really need those layers. But one thing that I want to show you that I think that you will maybe need a lot or maybe use a lot is I can basically, if I want to, I can only render out this object here as well and put it on a special layer. And I can do this by doing a right click here on my balcony and adding a V-Ray Bridge compositing tag. And with this compositing tag, I can now give this object here an object ID. So let's give it maybe object ID 3. And then here in our multipass manager, we need to set this up. So we need to go multi-channels and go object select. And then we need to give it the exact same ID that we gave it here. So if I put this here to 3, and also consider for anti-aliasing maybe ticked on. You can do this, by the way, in every channel, but if you do it for every single channel, I swear to God, the render will be awfully and extremely slow. Because everything then gets anti-aliased, the refraction, the diffuse, the reflection, any single channel. And the normal anti-aliasing should be really good enough. So consider for anti-aliasing, I would really maybe only do the object select, maybe even here ticked off. Let's try it with off. And right now we will only get a channel or only get this balcony, and then we can only control this balcony separately from all the other stuff that we have going on, which is pretty nice, of course. And we can do the same thing here for our cloner object, I think. So let's just go here, handles and cloner, and put one V-Ray Bridge tag on it. I hope this is working with null objects, because they are all in a null, but it should, I think. And let's just give this both an object ID of 2, and let's add here object select again, and then switch the ID here to 2. So those two objects, so the handles and then our rest of the balcony, should be rendered separately as well. And then we can do this for our building as well if we want to give this a compositing tag. Give it maybe object ID 1 and open up our multipass thingy again. I did close it now, sorry for that. And then we can here just add another object select, set this here to 3, to 1, sorry, and then we should get a separate pass for this as well. There are also material ID channels that we could add, so material select, so only materials getting selected. You can change this here in the material. Here you can set a mat ID, so let's give this maybe a mat ID of 5 for now, any random number will do. And then we add here render elements, multi-channel, I think material select, I really hope so, material select, and then we give it the same ID, ID 5. Apply color mapping, we can tick on or tick off, but I think letting this ticked on is always a good idea. And so yeah, what we don't really need is the sample rate anymore. This is just really to get rid of our noise in the scene, so we can delete this one. And there are a lot of other channels, but you will really not need. Maybe only the Z depth here, or let me look this up again, if this really is the Z depth. So if you have a DOF going on and want to control this a little bit more inside of Photoshop, you can just simply go here, filter, and then I think it's lens correction, or I'm not 100% sure. It's somewhere, and then you can load this map directly here under filters in Photoshop, and then you can adjust even your DOF a little bit more inside of Photoshop, which is also pretty cool since we don't have a DOF going on right now I cannot really show this off. I'm not sure if this is now material ID or material select. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's not material ID because we can't type any numbers in here. So just simply delete this. And let's just see what's happening if you're rendering out this mat ID here as well. I'm not sure if it's really giving us this texture or if it's just giving us this color that we select here. So let's make this red maybe. Because if this gets, let's make this really 100% red. So in the RGB 255 and the rest set to 0. So this is absolutely pure red. The good thing is with this thing, if it really, I'm not 100% sure yet if it will render out our wood material or this red color that we did set here. If it does put out this red color here, the good thing is we can then create an alpha channel because we can just simply select everything that is completely blue, completely green, completely red extremely easily in Photoshop, and then we can just simply make a mask out of this and then use this as an alpha channel for everything where this material is applied. And this can also come in handy sometimes, and also some clients might request this. So we have 3 different object selects. We have our lighting, GI, specular, reflection, diffuse, refraction, and shadow, and our material select. And now we'll just simply turn on our light and render this out as usual. Before we do that, sorry, we also need to set this here up in Multipass, I think, or in Save, sorry. We need to save our Multipass images as well. So first of all, let's save our regular image as well, because I want to have this all together. Also, let's save this quickly, maybe here to our right chapter. Maybe there must be a multipass, view multipasses. That's not right. Let's make a new chapter quickly. Sorry about that. I'm over prepared today, really over prepared. Sorry. Let's call this multipass here as well. And then we save here, let's just simply call this single. And here we set this here to 32-bit, just to get a little bit more color information and lighting information overall. And let's set this here to TIFF PSD layer. We can also set it here to OpenEXR, but I think TIFF PSD layer is in this case better. And then we just simply save this here as multi. Let's just give it the name multi. And I want to really tick off multi-layer file, because multi-layer file will give you just one big Photoshop file where you have all those files in there, but I really want to have them separately already right from the start. So I will tick off multi-layer file here. And this should be it, and we should be ready to go. And if you render this now, everything should be saved and should be in the right place. So I will finish this render, and then we will jump right into Photoshop and see what we can do with all those layers. Okay, alright, so the render has finished. I have rendered this shot out with 2 different angles. One from our first angle that we ever created, and then also from the second one. I mean, in the end we can choose which one looks a little bit better. It's really up to us, I guess, which one we want to use. I even think that the first one might look better. Even thought on this shot we can see here the side also a little bit better, which I don't like. I would maybe need here some more of those wood things, but yeah, what can we do? I mean, you know that we could do it, but it just simply would take too much render time. This would be another 26-minute render, and you know how to do it, so it would be no problem whatsoever for you. So here we can look a little bit at the passes. So here we have our shadow pass, refraction, diffuse, reflection, specular, GI, lighting, object select, our different object selects. See, 2 of those did work. The other one in the back, so the house here, we could also get out with this object select already, because it's completely white and everything else is black. I mean, in this we only have this balcony right here, so we can control this house separately pretty good with this shape. That's good. And the material select didn't do anything. I really have to look into this one more time to really get something out of this material select, because it's just simply completely black. I'm not sure if it's V-Ray's fault or my fault, but I will find it out and post it maybe in the forum. If you really want to know what this material select is all about, then just simply ask me the question again and then I will look into it. I hope I don't forget it, really. So if I forget, please remind me on this in the forum and I will try to answer this. Okay, so let's jump into Photoshop and let's get rid of all those other renders that I've made. Even thought they don't even look so bad. But yeah, we will now just try to import all the files that we need and yeah, just make it happen. I will show you what you can do with all those multipasses. So here we have the multipass chapter. I need to make sure that I'm taking now the right one. So I need image sequence. Maybe we can tick this on. Maybe this helps. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Let's tick on image sequence so that Photoshop is really loading the complete sequence. So let's try this. Let's open this up. Frames 30. No, I don't need an animation, to be honest. We could also try. Let's just open this one by one. I mean, this is a little bit kind of not so cool. Or maybe let's just open up this folder. I think with Bridge we could do this way easier. But yeah, what can you do? It's okay. It's okay. Let's just import this here. Let's see if I can drop this here as a layer. No, I can't. So here we do have the GI lighting. Then the material select I will leave for now, only if you really need it, and then I will take the reflection, the refraction, the shadow, the specular, the diffuse. Oh, we already got this. This is the second shot, sorry. So let's import those layers as well. Multi-specular, place. Oh no, it's working, okay. Place, 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 and place. And let's get the diffuse over here as well. The diffuse, and let's make sure that this diffuse layer is really perfectly aligned here. Okay, should be now. Let's call this layer here, first of all, diffuse. Or let's call it multi underscore diffuse underscore, I don't know, 1. On which layer is this one? Let's deselect all these layers. Let me look at this layer. Which one is it? I don't have a name for this layer right now. So let's just check it out in Cinema. Not the shadow, not the diffuse, not the reflection, not the specular. Seems like it is the GI, right? I think it is the GI, yes. So let's call this multi GI underscore 2. We need to do here a few things now. Everything that is lighting related normally, like the lighting here, and gets a linear dodge, and everything that absorbs light, let's say it like that, gets an multiply right here. So this is just our layer mapping method that we will use. In this case, in V-Ray it's some kind different. Normally you would put the diffuse really at the last layer. In V-Ray we need to use the lighting layer. So the lighting is the only thing that gets not a linear dodge or a multiply. Normally it would get a linear dodge, of course, but this is the only layer that will stay normal here. And the diffuse we will just simply make multiply, then the multi-GI, this should be light, so let's give this linear dodge for now, and let's give all the other specular, let's give this multiply, let's give this multi-reflection a multiply, let's give this multi-refraction a multiply, and let's give this shadow a multiply as well. And then we should start to see something. But as you can see, we also don't have a background image now. We don't have any reflection right now. So I might have done here something wrong. Let's maybe bring the reflection up. No, that doesn't really help. I think it has to be the right order. Maybe maybe we really need to set everything to linear dodge. Sometimes I'm really asking myself if I even remember things. So let's try to set all to linear dodge here. Yeah, and now we're getting somewhere, at least. The diffuse, I'm not sure, let's try it with linear dodge. No, this definitely needs to be multiply, so the diffuse is multiply, and the GI then also should be linear dodge. And as you can see, we should get our full image here. Let's compare it with the real shot that I did render out as well. So let's go single one, and let's check this out, how it does look. Okay, we have no shadows here, so we still need to do here something in the shadow channel, which is linear dodge here as well right now. And we might not even need this channel, we might just can tick it off. Let's maybe try this multiply. No, this does not work. So let's try this linear dodge. No, I think we just need to turn this shadow layer off. This is not really working good. And now we have the exact same shot. Like here, we don't have this guy, but we can export this guy pretty easy. This also gives us the opportunity, of course, to bring in a complete, just a sky that we want. So we can just simply jump on Google, I don't know, type in overcast sky, because at least it should match somehow, of course, the lighting situation that we have here. And then we can just simply download whatever image we want and then just simply pull it here into the background and can use all sorts of skies and even work with the sky separately. We can also just from the normal render pick the sky up and bring it over. Let's maybe just cut it and bring it over here. Even though this is a different color space, but this doesn't matter right now. And then bring it in, and as you can see, we already have our layer here, and then we can work here with the sky. If you want to use the same sky, if you want to use a different one, which we will do, I think we can, use a different one, of course. So what is this all about? The thing is just simply we can now control all those layers separately, which is really cool, I think, to be honest. Here, let's see the difference between GI and no GI. I even think that this render has a little bit something without the GI, without those lights completely bouncing around. So what we can do, we just can go here and maybe make here another layer. I think we need to hold down the Alt key or the Control key, and then let's maybe make a levels here. So these levels should now be connected, I think, to this multi-GI. And let's just play around here with the levels. And now we can only control the GI here, which is pretty cool, as you can see. I'm not sure if this is only to the GI right now connected. There was a little trick to do this multi-GI. No, this was not a trick. Let me check this out quickly. I'm not this really good Photoshop guy, but we will get there. Don't worry. To be honest, it doesn't even really matter. We can just simply click on this layer here, multi-GI, and go image adjustments, and then click here on levels, and then we can only control the GI, as you can see. And this is pretty nice. So we can make this way brighter. We can go down here a little bit, maybe a little bit more like this. I think this looks pretty cool. A little bit darker, and so yeah, I think that's really okay. Then we can work here with the reflection, as you can see. So let's take the reflection and maybe, I don't know, use a curves here. We don't even can use a curves. Okay, that's a little bit bad. Let's maybe make this layer. Can we do? Is it to do something with the layer? Let's maybe make flatten image. Discard hidden layers. Whoops. No, this was completely wrong. So here multi-reflection, what do I need to do? So I can use here a curves. This might be also because they are all 32-bit. This might be a little bit of a problem. I can't use a curves here either. So let's, what can I do? I mean, I can change the mode, of course, here to 16-bit for this layer if I want to. Then I don't have so much lightning and color information anymore, but it might be fine. Let's just simply switch the mode here to 16-bit. Merge. Sorry, my fault. Don't merge. Don't merge it. Go image mode 16-bit and then don't merge. Okay, this is also not a good idea because of this. Damn it! Sorry, this is really my fault. I think the only thing that we can really do here is then play around with the hue and saturation, the levels, and so on. Doesn't matter if you use a curves here or not, but we can definitely play here a little bit around with the reflection. Let's see what we can do here. Oh yeah, okay, we can give it more lightness overall. So here in the windows you can see it pretty good, and then we can play around here with the color that is reflecting. You can see now it turns more reddish, more yellowish, and so on and so on. This is not something that I want to do right now. I just want to show you, you have the possibility to do it. So this is not so important. Nice, I love when I'm getting spam mails for adult websites when I'm working here. That's awesome. Anyway, so here we have the refraction as well. So as you can see, as I tick this off and tick this on, we get all these nice things here. Really here the reflection on the windows, or the refraction on the windows. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, okay, perfect. And let's just try the refraction and make here a little bit of adjustments, maybe with levels here as well. So we control this here a little bit better. Even thought, yeah, we can make this way brighter, so we can make the reflection really high, or just leave it as what it was, or we can make it really dark here, even darker. I think darker is not even possible anymore. Yeah, but we can play around with this value as well. Then here we can play around with the specular, even though this is not so much, but we have control over this. And then we can play with our diffuse. And what we can do now, or next, let's say it like that, we can also now only control here our wood or our balcony concrete, basically. So we just add this multi-object select, where we have this complete balcony in this case, and let's drop it here. Okay, I need to bring it over. Single TIFF, is it there? No, I think it's here. No, it's here. Or is it here? No, I think it's here. Sorry for that. Okay, let's bring this into place. And this is really just a mask for us, you know. So we bring this here to the top, then we make a selection. Okay, we need to convert this image first of all, here really to 16-bit, otherwise this won't work. A lot of things won't work in 32-bit mode inside of Photoshop. Okay, got converted. Let's hope that the rest also got converted. Okay, that's not good. So let's delete this layer. Let's go back here and let's just change the mode right here to 16-bit. Don't merge. Okay, thanks. And let's bring it back in. Yes, I still want to proceed. Yes, thank you. Thank you for babysitting me, Adobe Photoshop. And now we can just simply take this here, the magic wand tool, and only select. Oh, okay. It gets automatically converted to 32-bit as soon as I drag it over. So let's try this once again. The touch document has a different depth than the source document. This may result in lower than expected quality. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yes. I sure want to convert colors to destination document with this. But why is this still 32-bit? I really have no clue. This should not really be a 16-bit image, but probably this is not working. As soon as you have this as soon as you have a 32 thing open here. Ah, that really sucks. That really sucks. Okay, let's say we have really made all the changes that we wanted to make here in all the layers, and let's bring those layers together. So all the layers that we need, maybe let's leave the sky out for now, but all the rest. So we'll just take those layers that are still activated and go layer, merge layers. Now it's only one layer, we can delete the shadow one. And this is the sky, this will be always separate. And now let's try to convert this complete scene here to 16-bit, and let's see if this works out a little bit better. Don't merge. Yeah, now it's working. Now it's looking pretty good. And now we should also be able to use this layer here. And we just select this here. And now we have a selection only for this, for the balcony, basically. And we can now just deactivate this layer, and as you can see now we have a selection here for this part only. And now I could make a mask here. I think control and hitting the mask. I'm not sure if this did work right now. It's maybe like this. Yeah, with Alt I can make a mask. And now I think I have to bring in this image once again. Let me just duplicate this image and let me delete the mask here. Oh, this is not working like this. Delete layer mask, yes. And now we have this thing here back again. But if I jump now to this layer, I should only be able to control the colors and everything else only for the balcony. So let's go adjustments and let's try it with levels first of all to demonstrate you this a little bit. No, not working yet. Let's maybe jump here onto the mask. Let's go levels. This is also not working. Okay, today is really not my Photoshop day, I guess. What am I doing wrong? Let me think this through quick. Oh, sorry, I think I have to control the levels now only in this thing here, down here. Man, today is really not my Photoshop day, sorry about that. And now as you can see, if I'm playing here around with the levels, you can see you can only control the balcony, which also can come in pretty handy, of course, if you wanna control here a few things. We could make this darker. We can jump in and just image adjustments and use a curve here. So we can make this here, bring in maybe a little bit more contrast. I'll make it a little bit brighter, and then do it like this, more or less contrast as we like to have this. I think even like this it looks a little bit better. And then like this, okay, like this it's really over bright. Let's try it like this and then click OK. And then we could also jump in here, hue and saturation. And then we could change here the color a little bit of this thing. Basically only of those cubes up here that are textured with wood, but this is also possible. So we can really change the saturation. Maybe let's bring the saturation a little bit down. Maybe not so much, maybe just a little bit. And then we can control the lightness, but this will also affect this down here. So let's just leave this here at 0. So yeah, we have a lot of possibilities with these layers later on to really control our image as much as we want. And I really like that, to be honest. I mean, it's not always needed that you render out all those multipasses. Sometimes one image, I mean, you have a lot of control here in this image, in this single image here as well, if you want to. But here you just simply are given a little bit more control overall. And when we have this all everything together, let's just simply put these two layers together and let's say merge layers. We can go filter, camera raw filter, and make maybe a little bit more of a final adjustments. We can here play a little bit with the exposure. We can play with the contrast, and I really want to give it more contrast, to be honest. And a little bit more clarity maybe. And then we can also here control the colors once again. Here for this balcony, as you can see, you can really make this color shift here a little bit. And then we could also jump here into the saturation and tell, okay, how much saturation do I want to have for this thing up here, and so on and so on. Then here in the FX we can also add a little bit of a vignetting, which is also cool. Vignetting definitely comes in handy here for this shot, I think. And hit OK, and we get a nice vignetting, and we have our sky. Now we can control our sky if we want to. Let's just simply drop our levels here. And let's control the sky a little bit so we can make it way brighter if we want to, or way darker, really depending on us, what we want to do. And we also, of course, can jump into Google. Let me show this quick. And we just search for Google Overcast Sky. And then we have, let's maybe go search options, and let's change the size here that it only gets us really big pictures. And then we can search for a sky here, maybe something like this. This seems to be really big, like 5,000 pixels by anything, 5,477 by 3,651, which is pretty cool. We could also go with this one here. We could try this one as well. And let's just simply download this one, save it somewhere, maybe, no, not on the desktop. Let's maybe also pull this in here and in here. And let's just open up this guy. Oh, first of all, let's close this here. File open. And let's load this background layer, and let's bring it over to our file. Yes, we want to proceed. Even though this is a little bit pixelated, but it's also really big, so we can shrink this down dramatically. So let's go Control T normally. Yes, as you can see, it's really, really big, so I have to zoom out. And let's bring it a little bit more to the size that we have here. And let's drop it under this layer. Oh, did I merge the sky as well? Let me get rid of the sky quickly. Oh, that's not working so good anymore. Okay. Whoops. Wrong layer. Okay, and let's delete this guy. And we have a different sky now here. And now we can move this guy around in the back, of course. See where it's really, really fitting. I mean, around here probably. That's the only opportunity that we have. Maybe like this, if you want to have more clouds or less clouds. And then we can go image, adjustments, levels, curves, and so on, and bring this even a little bit more up here. Or we could bring in a little bit more contrast, and so on and so on. So we have really, really full control. I think this looks pretty good like this. Okay, and I still want to give this whole image, when we have chosen our sky, I want to bring in here a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more color. Let's maybe go in the blue channel and the curves, click one time here, and then we just simply play around a little bit. Maybe we'll bring in a little bit of greenish. This would only happen if it's reflecting some green surroundings as well. But I think we can go a little bit of greenish here. Just a little bit, and then we can also play around down here to make this change here. This is way too extreme. Let's maybe leave it like this, and then we can jump into the red channel, make it maybe a little bit more, I don't know, a little happier, let's say it like that. Maybe not here, maybe here. So we have a lot of control here. And if you don't like it, if the picture, just simply hit OK, and then we can always go edit, and then step backward and step forward, so we can see the difference. Okay, there isn't really a difference. Maybe I didn't save these curves now. Doesn't really matter. We can also go here, photo filter, try different filters here, warming filters, cooling filters, of course. Then we can adjust this here a little bit. If you want to, the sepia doesn't look so bad, then the density, we can really control this. Okay, how much do we want? We could also just simply make a layer. So let's just make a layer and make a new layer here. Let's take the paint bucket tool, make it white, right click, blending options, and then we can play around here with the opacity. If you want to have this a little bit diffuser here, maybe something like this. And then we could change here color overlay and can give this all kind of colors, red, blue, and so on and so on. So this is also a possibility to do this via a layer separately. And I personally think I only wanna bring the contrast up a little bit more, because I think we have really, really not much contrast in this picture. So let me try this quickly. So contrast a little bit higher. Yeah, maybe like this. Maybe this is already too much. This might look okay. Then we can change the overall brightness, which I think is not such a good idea. Maybe something like this. Okay. Anything else that I want to change? I don't think so, really. Do I like this picture like this? Yeah, I think so. We could try to add a little bit of chromatic aberration here. Chromatic aberration is something that is happening if you are most of the time with bad lenses or maybe bad cameras. Then you get those red and blue and green lines a little bit around the edges of the object. This is just really happening when you working with a bad camera, but in 3D, this can definitely enhance the image and make it a little bit more realistic. So what we can try to do is to add this a little bit. I only have to find this. Let's make the camera raw filter up once again, and let's go here to color. I might want to change the color of this building a little bit more, first of all, before I'm doing anything else. Yeah, so here in this aqua channel, definitely finding some color. Let's maybe bring it a little bit more in this greenish direction. And here does it, yeah, here we can also find a little bit something. You can see the changes here in the window dramatically. From purple to not purple. So let's make this not purple. And then we can also change here the saturation, of course, of those aquas. But I think like this it looks pretty nice. Let's check the blues, so we can take out a little bit of the sky from the windows if we want to. No, I think it looks good like this. Yeah, like this maybe. Let's take the greens a little bit out, maybe. Okay, there's not much in the picture. Okay, perfect. And here, normally lens correction, remove chromatic aberration, we can tick on here. But I think we can also this way add some chromatic aberration, but I haven't done it in some time. So I'm not 100% sure. Purple hue. This will not really help. Let's check the green amount. We can do here something. Maybe if I tick this on, but this should really remove it. I don't think we really get a good chromatic aberration like that. Maybe lens vignetting, we already have this. So we can make this even a little bit more, maybe like this. Yeah, like this, okay. But I still want to have my chromatic aberration. How can I make a chromatic aberration here? Good question. Good question. Let's have a look here at these presets. Maybe we can do something here. Grayscale conversion. No. Okay. Let's just click. Let's just hit OK. And I think the shot looks pretty good now. The only thing that I really want to add is some chromatic aberration. And there is a really, really nice plugin for that I think that I only have for After Effects right now. And I just want to show you that this plugin is really, really good. And like I said before, one time when I was using a third-party software, I'm not earning any money from them. So like really absolutely zero money. I just want to show you that this is really, really a nice plugin. This is also available for Photoshop. I have no clue why it's not in Photoshop right now. So when we are happy with this picture here in Photoshop, we can just go merge layers and save this so we can bring it to After Effects. We might even can export it here right away. Export to passes to Illustrator, render video, export as. Might be possible, but I don't know. Let's just simply save it really. Let's save it as a 16-bit TIFF and let's call this single 3 for now. And layers ticked off because we don't have any layers. Discard layers and save a copy, exactly. And let's go Adobe After Effects and we double click in here to open up a picture. Come on, don't be lazy. Okay, it's kinda slow right now. Okay, I will just wait a little bit. Okay, so now it's working, so I can finally load this image here. And let's load it up. And then we need to set this here to 16-bit per channel and then drop it right onto. Oh, I think it did load. Let me delete this. It did load more images than just one. This is because TIFF sequence is ticked on, so let's tick this off. So it's only really important this one image. And let's drop this here onto this thing. Perfect. And now we will just go effect. Maybe this is even a little bit too bluish still. I mean, we can change this inside of this plugin as well. So let's go Magic Bullet Looks. This is the plugin that I'm talking about. I really, really love it. It's a lot of fun and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. Right now it's going over to my second screen. You also have here a lot of different presets that we could use. So a lot of different curves that are in there. So as we go through here, you can see, okay, there's a lot of stuff that we can change. A lot of stuff that we can try out, of course. Till we find something that is really appealing. And if we don't want to have this, we can just close this up here and delete everything here. And let me pull in arrange and HSL colors here in the post so I can tweak here the colors a little bit more. And I want to get out the blues a little bit here of this image, just a little bit, and also the purples a little bit, the hue and lightness, and also here in the saturation, so we can make this a little bit like this. Yeah, I think this looks better. This has now a better look. Maybe not. Maybe let's go a little bit back. Maybe it looks better like this. No, I don't think so. I think it looks better like this. Like this, it looks a little bit more neutral and doesn't pick up so much surrounding color. Not really going in a blue or in a red or in a green direction. It's just really a pure, perfect, let's call it white render. And here we also have the option, I think, on the lens to add a chromatic aberration. And then we can tick this on here, or I think it's already ticked on. And then we can here add a little bit of chromatic aberration. You can also go extreme here, something like this, or maybe something like this. Let me turn this on as well. And then you see we're getting those streaks around here, those windows like this. You can see it now really, really extreme, this green and red things. This is a little bit too extreme, I think, so we definitely have to change this down. Maybe bring this value here. Yeah, maybe something like this. This is still too much, I guess, so let's go a little bit back here. Something like this. Let's bring this up, go a little bit minus, maybe like this. Kind of hard to tell. Maybe a little bit less greenish. Let's bring in a little bit more red here, like this. And then we have a little bit of a chromatic aberration. And this might still be a little bit too hard, but I think for this preview here, it's absolutely okay. And I think it just simply enhances the image a little bit. I mean, it's still too hard. We need to go down here. It's also, let me change here this value a little bit, and now let's bring this down here. This red is just way too much. We bring down this yellow. Only want to have it a little bit like this, maybe. Still too much. Yeah, now it might be okay. Maybe not. Let's bring this down. Yeah, maybe like this. Maybe like this, it's okay. And let's hit here this little button, and we should be already and good to go. So what we need to do now is go composition, add to render queue, looseless. We click on this looseless button down here, and then set this here to TIFF sequence. Millions of colors or trillions of colors should be 16-bit. Pre-multiplied matted or straight unmatted, doesn't really matter here. Let's click OK. Then we just need to find an output, and also we need to make sure that we only set this here to 1 frame, otherwise After Effects will render out the same picture over and over again for almost 30 seconds. So let's bring this thing over here. This would be 5 frames, and let's bring this here over to 1 frame, and then we go composition, render queue, open this up again, click OK, and then we can go render right here. First of all, I want to set a pass, of course. Okay, it's still the same folder, that's good. And let's click on render, and now we should have rendered 1 frame here, if I'm right. Let's check this again. Maybe not. Or maybe it did save it somewhere else, did it? No, it didn't. I think we might have to make here 2 frames. Let's delete this here. Let's up this here to 2 frames maybe. Go composition, add to render queue again, looseless, set this here to TIFF, sequence and to trillions of colors. Let's click OK. Let's find our output. Okay, it did already pull it out, I think. No, I did save it to the desktop. Okay, this was my fault. Sorry. So let's just put it in our folder right here, save, and let's render. Now we probably got 2 frames, I guess. Yes, so we can delete the second one. Or maybe let's delete the first one and keep the second one, because with the first one you might sometimes, or in some cases, you might have some problems. And this is our first exterior shot that we really made up from the ground, and I think it looks pretty cool. The only thing that a little bit catches my eyes is those really bright spots here. This might be a little bit of a texture repetition right there. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but it could be. But I still think it looks pretty perfect. Our sky is coming in pretty handy. The material on the wall looks good. The wood looks okay. We should have brought here a little bit more cubic things, a little bit more wood right here from this camera angle. But yeah, we would have known that we take this angle here in the end. And so yeah, I think this is a pretty nice shot. And in later lessons we will go on and zoom a little bit out, add some grass, add some ground, a little bit of soil and stuff like that. A little bit, we will start to make our own trees, and then make a full shot of this thing with grass, with trees, with the ground, with lights maybe on the ground that are lying there, with some kind of I don't know, maybe stone way that is leading to this house, or what do I know. So there's still a lot to come, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to exteriors. If you might start out a little bit with your own exterior thing and experiment with that. And if there are still any questions or anything else, please jump over to the forum, ask questions, request maybe another tutorial, but please bear in mind there are also a lot of tutorials still to come. I can only record, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 videos a day. This takes really a lot of time and preparation and planning, of course. So yeah, you can still post it in the forum, and if there will be a video that you might request in the soon future, I will just simply write this into the forum as well, so that you don't have to worry. So I really hope with this complete introduction to exteriors, you really did learn something. And yeah, as usual, I'll catch you in the next part.